We always break down a movie or TV show to start out with. And in honor of our guest today, we kind of were thinking about different options and where we were going to go. But what do you guys think? Kyle, what did we decide on? What do you want to hit?
You know what? I thought of two things I wanted to touch on last minute. I wanted to talk about I, Tonya and Black Mirror a little.
Word.
Black Mirror is my shit.
Okay.
Black Mirror is my shit.
Well, which do you want to hit first? Let's get it.
Let's hit I, Tonya.
All right.
Phenomenal film. I mean, honestly, I thought she that's her best role I've ever seen her in. And
I agree.
The process that she went through, I mean, that's kind of what I want to do with my career now. Start producing the stories that I love, that I really want to get out there, that I think should be heard. But start making a lot of my own stuff, getting to these stories and getting it down. Yep.
That's awesome. Did all you guys see I, Tonya?
Yeah, I did.
So you did? Carl, you didn't?
No, I don't have no life, man. I don't get to see too much movies, man.
Movie pass, man.
I know. See, you kids, you got your little secrets. You need to tell older people like me faster. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm gonna go though. I'm gonna get that movie pass, and I'm gonna go too much. They gonna cancel my fucking card.
Oh, okay. All right.
Like he go too much. He using it. It's like all you can eat spot. And the Asian people start serving you and shit. They like, this motherfucker that ate too much for that $29.99. This big ass the fuck out of here, homeless. This is in the bottom of the pit, motherfucker.
You gotta maximize it, bro.
Yeah, I'm terrible.
Well, regardless, whenever you do get around seeing it, I recommend. I saw it, dude, and I agree. I loved it. It was great. It was Margot Robbie's best performance.
Absolutely.
Hands down. Yeah.
For sure. What did you like specifically about it? What do you think?
I mean, it's such a fascinating, true story in and of itself.
Yeah. Do you think it was portrayed like accurately, or think they kind of juiced it up for entertainment?
I think of course they juiced it up for entertainment. It's Hollywood, but I think there's a pretty accurate portrayal of what was going on, and it just makes you feel so bad for Tonya Harding. There's so many factors around her and variables that just kept getting in the way, and that she persevered, and then this whole scandal literally ruined her entire life. Like, she could not figure skate anymore. She didn't know what to do. That was her whole life, and I mean, like, they showed a couple like real clips from the real people afterward, and it's so spot on.
Yeah.
Like, their characters are so spot on.
She had all the ticks down.
Yeah. Oh,
Wait,
man.
So, to get it clear, so this is basically about the after effects of Tonya Harding and the boyfriend doing the thing with Nancy Kerrigan and busting the knee type joint?
Yeah, it's the entire story. Like, before, I'm pretty much,
like
they
from
start
her
when she's
side,
young.
like Maleficent, like it's kind of like her backstory side.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yo, number one, I fucks with Tonya Harding and a thug ass man. That's all I'm saying. God, they gangster with it, man. We need to
I don't
do
know
that.
about the thug part so much.
Yeah.
Maybe
I'm saying, yo.
fucking idiot thug.
I'm telling you,
maybe.
Seriously, oh my
If the
God.
Clippers had more people like that on their team, they'd have won a championship by now. Bust a couple knees, Jack. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, man. You guys
I don't know,
need
man.
something.
This is just more like the Three Stooges and the Clippers. Well,
Hey, you ain't never seen the Clippers play?
Yeah,
They
yeah,
added
I
us
was
the Three fucking Stooges with basketballs.
I was just gonna crack a joke here.
Pitiful.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Pitiful.
Well, yeah, man. I thought it was real crazy. I thought, first of all, Margot's like commitment to the role and performance was
unbelievable.
excellent. That was really good.
That's so inspiring.
Yeah,
Completely.
100%.
And she does that with all of her roles. She learns like anything that she has to do. During the Harley Quinn movie, what was that? Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
She learned how to hold her breath for up to like 5 minutes underwater to do that underwater scene.
Yeah.
I've tried. I think my max is like 2 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
Suck
You
it,
gotta
hold your breath.
like train for that.
You really do. You really do.
I got like a hood 37 seconds for all y'all.
There you go.
Oh, God, y'all, Jesus, I can't breathe.
Yeah. But to your point, seeing movies, I haven't been able to see as many movies. This has been like a very low movie watching period in my life with the new boy. So
Yes.
it's so busy. It's like me and the girl, we haven't been to the movie theater together in, I don't know, like how long? It feels almost like 9 months.
You need a
Crazy.
babysitter?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
There
you know
go.
what? We finally got into a babysitter that has a groove, and we like her a lot and trust her, so it's good. But But yeah, dude, I haven't been to, and we live right across from the Grove.
Oh,
So it's like,
So it's
I
like
could
right there,
walk
too.
right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Crazy.
tough. But
I feel the same way. I got to the point where I've gone to the movies specifically to see specific stuff. Whereas if I'm like casual, I'll be like, man, like the Oscars this year, we were talking about that before, and I told you guys, I was like, I only saw 2 out of all the things nominated for Best Picture. And it's not because I didn't want to. It was just like,
prepared.
yeah, and it was also kind of like, those types of movies, some of them just weren't, popular or running long, or and also I didn't feel like they were required to be like an Avengers, where like I'm not gonna go fucking see Avengers on my TV.
Right.
Like I mean I will probably if it comes on or something, but I'm not gonna be like, oh, just like that's something you pay to go to the theater to see.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Yeah.
But there's a lot of stuff that's like drama and story heavy that plays just as well from the couch.
From your couch. Yeah. Absolutely.
And
That's
I
why
agree
I'm
with that.
saying, guys, it's not just a millennial thing. I think everyone should get a movie pass. You should get a movie pass.
It's a really good idea
$9
financially
a
for the
month.
industry. I think it's really good.
$10
You
a
get
month.
one movie a day.
Support.
Like you
And
get
you
to
can
see
go-
one movie a
That's
day.
crazy.
$10 a month. That shit is
That's
worth
crazy.
it, especially in this
It
industry.
sounds illegal. I'm not even gonna lie. It sounds illegal.
Well, it's gonna draw people to
It's to keep
going
the
out
theaters
to
from
the
closing.
theaters more.
It's
Yeah.
hard.
Instead
It's
of Netflix
hard to
and-
get people to theaters nowadays.
Yeah.
Man.
So that's what I'm saying. And you got the pass. I would probably go, especially, by the way, if I had the pass and lived directly across the street from a movie theater.
You'd be able to see pretty much any movie.
But
you
I
want.
also, I don't have a girl and I don't have a kid. So, like,
Right,
like
right.
a little different.
Yeah. That's like having 2 part-time jobs.
For sure.
Part
For
time.
sure.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
that's a
exactly.
full-time job, and then you got your regular work life, and then you went now said 2 full-time jobs when you got a girl and a kid. And then you get another kid. It's like you picked up a 3rd part-time job. So, and then you still got your regular job and whatnot. And that's why you got the old husband-wife thing. Because it's like, okay, we're going to split this up. We got 6 jobs now. Lord Jesus, what are we going to do?
Yeah, man. It's the most beautiful job I've ever had.
Yeah, that's right.
The most amazing job ever. Like, just, it's hard to even describe. But changed my life in so many ways for the better. But yeah, jobs still there.
Yeah.
So
Well, besides from getting to the movies, we were going to bring up Black Mirror, and that you can watch from your couch. Yeah.
definitely can. You definitely
So
can.
before we go into this, and I am at fault because I've only seen like 2 or 3 episodes of Black Mirror. All of
Okay.
them have been great,
Oh, yeah.
and I just have not invested the time to go through
Yeah.
and binge that shit and knock
Yeah,
them
you
all
gotta
out.
binge it out.
Because for me, that's kind of like how I like to do it, so I can like be really focused on everything
Get
going
the whole
on.
picture. and-
That's how I did it with Stranger Things,
Yeah,
and
it's cool.
certain series captivate my attention like that,
Yeah,
and I feel like Black Mirror is one of them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, I haven't seen a single Game of Thrones because I was like, I'm not gonna watch them until I read the books because I'm that much of a hardcore researcher.
But
Okay.
that's what's great about Black Mirror, because each episode stands alone.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can-
Really?
That's
you
why I
can
like it.
randomly
Exactly.
watch
Yeah.
it here and there, and
Yeah.
everything makes sense. You
Yeah.
don't have to
They're all
follow
different
any
That's why I
stories.
like
storyline.
it. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like the Twilight Zone.
Yeah. The
in a-
modern
in
day
a futuristic
Twilight
world.
Zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've heard they
That's why I
called
liked
shit.
it. That's why I liked it.
I've heard they've like called shit. Like there's been stuff in Black
shit in
Mirror,
China
and then
right
like
now?
a couple like years later, a couple months later, will like actually come out and like be like, oh shit, now this new tech or like I've heard it hits the nail on the head of like what things might be like. And
Yeah.
That
Oh,
Black
it's-
Mirror
it's
episode
close.
where they rate people.
That's
yeah.
the one.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
what I
yeah,
was gonna say.
yeah,
That's
yes.
what I want to talk about
The
right here. Is
Facebook
the one where they rate
And the
people.
girl just like.
That-
China implemented that
Uber.
dude.
That's Uber right there.
all right,
like-
so hold on, Kyle, go in because I want to hear what's up. You wanted to get in on
Dude,
this.
I mean, I just wanted to say, like, that's where we're going. Literally, everyone's in their phone, and you're rated off of each personal interaction, and then that's how you can get a loan. That's how you can, live in nicer houses and have a nicer life and go to nicer restaurants.
Yeah.
Like, it's all based on this rating system,
Raidism.
and it's like, what is real anymore?
Yeah.
I mean, what is that? You know, between technology and, I mean, I don't know where the future of this goes. I'm watching that. thinking about like, okay, this is kind of realistic, like it's getting there. And then thinking about my son and like what kind of world is he gonna grow up into? Like,
Oh shit, yeah. Like
it's crazy.
I get that, and you're absolutely right. Like, where does it? It's kind of, it's awesome, but it's also a little scary to think of because it's a little bit 1986.
Yeah.
You know, or 1987. Where the fuck the book is? Sorry.
And one of the weird consistencies between I
84.
think in almost everyone, does
remember.
everybody have the contacts in every single one? You know, the contacts where you can see all the stuff like your Determinator. Does everybody have contacts? I know some of them, they say everybody had forced contacts from birth.
Right.
And some of the other ones, people had to choose, you know, and they would actually tease the other kids about them because you could like block out the world. So if you don't want your kid to hear barking and shit, you could gray some shit out.
That's
oh
wild.
man, I was having a
That
stress day today.
episode-
Like I wanted to black the whole world out. I wanted to be the red dude today. I just didn't want to hear shit today. It's freaky because you can block people, you know, if you don't like them. Oh, it's
Like
oh,
legit, you can just
crazy.
block them. They don't exist
they
in
don't
your
exist.
life.
You're just
anymore.
a ghost. You're just this mumbling ghost.
Here's okay.
Crazy.
So I'll get your thoughts on this because I wanted to. I got an opinion because I really have a feeling that it will self-correct. Like I feel like if it goes one way or the other too extreme, we as humans are pretty adaptable and we might wait to the 11th hour to do something, but usually, you know, we kind of self-correct. And the reason I say that is the example of the social media and the rating system and casting and shit here in Hollywood. So right now, for all you guys listening, it's a lot of studios and shows are hiring social media influencers and YouTube influencers
All over.
based on their following because they can bring numbers to networks and to shows,
It's
right?
like trap.
Well, my theory of it is, you know, whether you're a record label or a network or a studio, your job is to curate content for people who pay money to go see your content. So whether it's a movie or a TV show, they pay, you know, for cable, or like HBO is a great example. You pay for HBO as a subscription, right? So for HBO originals, they curate content, and you know when you're like, oh, this new show on HBO, you know it's going to be a certain caliber. You know it's going to be like at least this quality and has this much like good vetting, good writing, production value. You know, it's not going to be like somebody half-assed it. So when studios or networks or anybody stops curating their content and just goes after the fan base, the fan base will no longer look to that studio as the filter, and they will lose their business. You know, so that's what I'm saying. Like right now it might be popular, but once these social media stars like come in, like I've seen them go into act and star on a TV show and they don't know how to act.
It's bad.
So
it's bad,
it's
I've seen it
bad
in
for the
movies.
show. Yeah.
I've seen it all
I mean,
over.
what,
That's where the self-correction I feel like comes
Will
in.
Smith
though.
said he didn't know how to act. He said they offered him a show and didn't even ask him did he know how to act, and he couldn't. Luckily he was just a personable motherfucker.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
So yeah, every once in a while it works out, and that's fine. But I just don't. I think those are the exceptions to the rule versus like the standard in the industry.
Yeah.
And that's where I think like the self-correction comes in because like after maybe like if we're looking at like 5, even like 10 years from now, I don't think we're gonna have studios and networks hiring social media stars like they are now.
No,
because
it depends on how they do and
No.
It'll be
and
case
if they
by
improve,
case.
If they improve,
I think
you know.
that will correct itself. But the whole idea of literally living your life like this, in just straight up in your phone, and then watching other people's lives, it's like
It's
how many
terrifying.
people
And-
spend
and
their lives
recording it
on
and playing
social
it
media?
back and shit.
Exactly,
Oh
and
my
that
God.
really is, you know, the fakest that we can be. It's all our best moments that we put out there, and that's what people perceive, and they really take that in as like reality.
Yeah.
And it's getting wild. So I'm curious how far that will go. Will it come to some type of like, you know, rating system where it changes, you know, money even?
Yeah.
I think they will eventually become a different, like we will create a VR world that will be like a VR internet. So like you will be able to actually either plug in, whether it's you call it like looking at your phone or actually put on some
It's the
thing,
contacts,
but
man. Like
That's
they're
Ready
gonna
Player
make
One.
them do. Like,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, soon they're gonna put the phone in your arm on some shit, so you can just hit this shit on your arm.
No, but
then next, I'm telling you, one they were like on this movie. Oh, the contacts, they're so close to making them now.
Look, there
Already,
will always
dude.
be people though who don't want to participate in that. Like
That's okay.
for over
live
a
in the
year, I didn't have my social media. Like I deactivated everything for over
Sure.
a year, and it was awesome and refreshing. But like I live just fine. Like nothing really crazy fucking happen. Like maybe I didn't message an old buddy that lives out of town every once in a while. Yeah. But, my fucking world kept spinning. And then, when I moved back out to Cali, I just turned everything back on. And realistically, only for work to, contact with people. Now you have to.
No.
But it's also depending on what your job was. Like I was living in St. Augustine. I worked at a distillery and I was a tour guide for ghost tours at night and bar tours. And I was like sailing and shit. And my life did not require for work that. But so it was
super cool.
It was a totally different type of vibe. But my point is there will always be people. There's gonna be some dude living in a cabin in Colorado that just has no need for that and is totally fine.
Always. There will be, but will the trend go the other way more so?
Oh, probably. But I also think that, like you said, we'll probably get to a point maybe decades from now where we do go so extreme that maybe the cool hipster thing to do then would be to no phone. I'm going radio, handheld radio, guys. We use a CB radio, play vinyls.
Cool, man.
Okay, I mean that would be very interesting. I just see technology not stopping.
No, every 6 months.
I don't think it's gonna stop.
Every 6 months. Every 6 months there's something new. Every 6 months. Every 6 months. Every 6 months.
Well, isn't this
going to?
Isn't this building up to what? What's it called? The focal point. It has a name. It's not like the epicenter. It's called the singularity. Where AI comes out and AI gets so powerful and this tech becomes so powerful
Terminator.
that it's almost more advantageous for us to biologically integrate with it somehow.
Oh yeah, I want to be Android. I want to be I want a bionic leg and all that shit. I don't care. I'm crazy.
Extend the life of humans.
Crazy.
Sure.
I don't where it goes and how that manifests is really the scary part because I don't know. Nobody I think does, but it's fine as long as the red's on. It's still recording, so just let it ride. But yeah, who knows? But I think we do it like we do with the nuclear bomb. If we can manage to get ourselves out of a certain period of time without killing ourselves, I think we'll be all right.
I don't know. I think it's going to end up like Hunger Games. It's going to get really bad. The broke people going to get pissed. They're going to try something. We done gave up enough of our guns because too many people got shot in school. So everybody got single pistols and shotgun hunting rifles. Then the government's like, look, we just going to whoop your ass. We going to try to fight back. They're like, no, motherfuckers, get in these little cave things. Once a year, we're going to have a little game and remind you about the time you stood the fuck up and was like, no, I'm not going to take this, buddy. And they're like, shut the fuck up, bitch. You don't even got a gun. Remember these automatic ones? And that's how it's going to be. Like 30 to 50 years.
Or what about, you guys seen WALL-E?
That's the super future.
We're getting so lazy, literally. Yeah. Food ordered to you everywhere. Everything is we're all about convenience.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. Where does that go with our laziness and technology?
Well, it's going to transition, I think, to instead of doing relying on manual labor heavily, it will be intellectual labor.
Well, yeah.
In time.
Mm-hmm. I think it's good. I got this weird presidential dream that, the infrastructure project was to make America green again, where you cut back on the military money, raise some taxes on some rich dudes, and then you take that money and you use it for an infrastructure project to rebuild America's highways, streets, and everything, like iRobot and everything. I mean, all green and technical, and rebuild all the factories and you train the Americans to just maintain it. So we all work 6 to 12 hours a day. You might work 4 hours. Your job is to go wash the machines for a couple hours or learn how to fix one thing. You train Americans while the other ones are building it. Use the Marine Corps engineers to have everybody run it and whatnot. And we just pay for the shit, and it'll be building jobs. It'll be jobs for America. We'll rebuild America from scratch. And when we're done, we'll have this super fucking solar powered green mega kickback, and then we can be creative and paint all day. And then Colin his leg can get to see a movie when they got a couple of kids. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm talking about.
Make America great again. That's the goal. I'm telling you. Make it great again.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, all right. So for the tech stuff, Kyle, I agree with what you're saying. We haven't even touched really on Black Mirror because I want to get to the show itself.
Oh, this is all Black Mirror stuff right here.
But I was gonna say, what would be the ideals, that you could see? What would be the ideal situation that it could go to? Because it has all these potentials. It can go this way, that way, this way. What do you think? I mean, where it's not too bad,
Honestly, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I mean, I've thought about it, but I don't know. Everything's just happening so quickly. I'm not sure what things are going to look like in 5-10 years from now.
Well, very true. Well, this is why I learned how to sail, guys. I learned how to sail, and I can grow my own food. I can distill my own booze, and I and I can grow my own weed. So if the world goes to shit, we had an episode where I talked about sailing. I was like, guys, the apocalypse happens. I got a boat. I got supplies. We going. We get the fuck out of Dodge.
Done. There you go.
Number one on my apocalypse list. That's the first. I don't care what part of the planet I'm on. I'm like, where the fuck is Devin at?
I was like, I knew that I cut because
number one,
dude. This is a legitimate thing because back when I was in college and even shortly after, I would have like long thoughts about. I was always into politics, geopolitics a lot. I was just interested about it. History. I'm a huge history buff. Studied a lot of like military history, politics, and just shit that has happened over the human race in different eras,
Great to learn about.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because sometimes you're reading it and you're like, damn, you can't make this shit up. But anyways, I think that through that, I always got a sense of like, what if the shit does hit the fan like it did over here, X amount of years ago, or it did over there X amount of years ago. I was like, I gotta be prepared. So I'm like, let me go figure out how to like start a fire in the woods and go camping. And like go figure out how to like do shit that like you need to do to just survive in general.
Right. Seriously.
Well, maybe that's the balance. Maybe as long as like as the years progress, like trying to encourage at least a fraction of your time to be spent away from the tech. To like make sure like we still maintain our roots because humanity, like think about it, we've only had this tech really for the past 100 years, and our biologically we're tuned to hundreds of thousands of years old.
Definitely.
And a hunter-gatherer mindset too. We've only had agriculture recently in our history. And granted, that's allowed us to like colonize the world or the whole planet, but
but only what for like 4,000 years maybe.
I mean like ancient Egypt, Mesopotamia, back in like
like when he was like, okay, we can stop and like grow some shit. The past that was like 40,000 years of like walking around. Just walking the fuck around like cows and shit. Just let's fuck this shit up over here. Let's go fuck it. Move, pregnant woman. God damn, you're slowing us down, pregnant bro. Come on, walk now, woman. They gonna eat us. That's the good old days, man.
It's like the more it's like the more I learn about all the crazy shit going on in the world, the more I want to get away into the woods and forget about all the fucking crazy shit going on.
A lot of crazy shit. It's a tough
give
time in the world.
give me a case of beer, a tent, some firewood, and a bag of mushrooms, and I will be fine for the weekend.
There you go.
Well, anyways, what you got any other thoughts on Black Mirror or anything like you guys?
I mean, it's the future.
Because like
I'm just curious to see what you guys were thinking on it.
Well,
I mean,
The first episode of this last season of season 4, USS Callister.
That was a wild
the
one.
Best one.
That's
my favorite
episode.
one, in
It's crazy.
my opinion.
It's crazy. Yeah.
No,
One of my
refresh the crowd's memory what that one is about since you're talking about it.
Spoiler alert if you
Refresh.
If you've never seen it, it's so there's the most intelligent man in the world. He figured out how you can scan yourself into this virtual reality world. So it's you in your brain, but he is kind of evil and fucked up. So people that he hated in his like work
that he
office,
worked with,
he would like take their DNA and then make an AI of them. And then they would be transferred into this virtual reality where he was in charge.
And they be stuck.
He was so
He's
fucking...
like a
because in the
He's
real
like a
world, he
superhero.
was just kind of like a bitch to everyone, and
Yeah.
they treated him like shit. So this is how he got back at everyone, like created his own world to mess with these people, and they were stuck there forever.
that's so crazy.
It's
he was
wild,
like God.
dude.
That's
It's dark.
definitely dark and twilighty.
It's dark.
They fight
You know-
their way out of his brain, like into the regular virtual reality, and now they just like travel intergalactic
Dude,
time.
the specifics of how
it's crazy, dude.
the specifics about like all the science behind how all this is really gonna work and manifest out, I think that's gonna determine a lot of if this can happen, if that can happen. Because like I always had a theory. All right, your consciousness, in my opinion, is you have every human being has an electrical current running through them. Like in your nervous system, your brains are firing, your neurons are firing, and and So every electrical current exerts a frequency, a hertz frequency. And the way quantum physics describes the dimensions is existing between hertz frequency ranges. So like our dimension and the third dimension exists between this frequency and this frequency. And imagine them like octaves on a keyboard. So all the same notes in the same scale and then just going up the same thing, just a different higher. That would be like the fourth dimension, fifth, or beyond that. Anyways, if you're trying to say like you get your consciousness and the pattern in which your neurons fire is like specific to you and your identity, then if you translate that into a computer system, how can you should be? It's like it would meld too much if you're one electricity to another electricity kind of thing. And also, like I think when my belief system is like when you pass away, all matter, laws of physics say matter cannot be created or destroyed, it only changes form, right? So when your atoms in your body decompose and they turn into carbon and other shit, in the ground, the electricity in your body, what they think, and my theory is DMT exerts a chemical reaction, electrochemical reaction in your brain when you're born, every time you go into REM sleep, and when you die. And when that happens, it literally acts as like a frequency adjuster. So the hertz frequency that your body's tuned to, your consciousness is acting like an antenna, sending and receiving.
Oh yeah.
That will change to a different frequency, a plane of existence, like a different dimension.
Yeah, we're like a bunch of little
I don't know. I'm
electromagnets.
unpacking a crazy amount of shit.
Yeah.
But
seriously,
the only reason I say that is because it's like, how do you download your consciousness if the physics of it support these rules of physics and with electricity and matter in the universe? I don't know because I'm not a neuroscientist and I'm not on the edge of this.
I guess it's not really a consciousness. I guess it's really just a copy.
But all right,
like a copy,
you could do that. I guess I don't know though.
Like
But I wouldn't be as fearful of being trapped in some prison of the mind, so to speak, which is still a really dark and freaky, crazy. Like that does scare me. The possibility of that.
That's an episode of Black Mirror
Right.
too.
Oh, dude,
Right.
they got tons of them.
Oh, man.
Tons of them. The guy in the room with the TVs. Oh my God, riding the bikes.
I would be more afraid of like the AI and the machines becoming aware and not. DARPA just invented a machine and made public with it that goes around the battlefield and it runs and powers itself on organic living matter. So its job is basically they release it to go eat dead bodies on the battlefield. But I'm like, really, guys?
Wow.
Terminator? Anyone? We just made a machine that eats people.
That's
Right.
Literally. And
crazy.
I mean,
That was an episode of Black Mirror
as a
too.
nerd type dude, that's
I didn't
kind
see
of
that
cool.
one.
Oh man, all those episodes.
The black and white episode from the last season.
ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to
Spoiler
this
alert,
in the
spoiler
future,
alert, spoiler alert.
100 years from now, the date is March 25th, 2018. And if the machines have taken over, you know how it started.
There it is.
I hope
Yeah.
I'm alive.
Well informed.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my.
100 years from now, you hope you're alive?
Oh yeah,
maybe
I
not
want to
100.
live forever. That's my other like secret little weird plan. It's like, how they got the Human Genome Project where you can grow body parts, you can grow hearts, you can grow different things, you can grow using the cell stuff. They put your cells on like this little tissue
man.
they make, right? So if you're rich, you give a couple $1 million to like USC, get Mr. C. D. Anthony building, and their whole project is to regrow all the organs and muscles and everything in my body. So anytime something goes bad, I got a heart problem, they pop me in a new heart, dog.
So would you get bored if you live forever?
I don't know. I think it's like I want to see where humans go. You know what I mean? I want to see because people I've seen. I've had friends die young. I've had grandparents die on me.
Right.
That's just a fact of life. You know what I mean? So it's going to happen. It's just like it'd be nice because it feels like with the energy you talked about that never leaves and goes. It goes up, comes back. You might come back as a dog. You might come back as Shaq if God likes you, whatever it may be. But I feel like your brain gets wiped when you go, and then you come back with all these vague memories, and then you're like trying to figure it all out from scratch all over again. And then right when you figure it out, like 97, like, bam. All right, wipe the brain, new body, send them back, try it again, motherfucker. And it's like, wait, but what about all the good things I figured out? Figure it out again. But you're going to have these feelings, though. You're not going to understand them. So I look at it like that. So it'd be nice to not have that reset. And be able to be like, I don't care. Like they was in the Bible, Methuselah and all them 2,000-3,000 years and whatnot. I don't know what it is. They smoking good weed or something. you know. But I mean, it'd be nice to be around that long, because I mean, eventually, you know what I mean, it's gonna be a fact of life, you know what I mean. And if I want to die, I'll just stop popping in parts.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Sure.
We
You know what I
might
mean?
get to that point. That is a very real possibility, you know?
Like cars.
You know, there's a church in Florida.
It's weird.
This is hilarious. There's a church in Florida called the Church of Perpetual Life. And it's started by a bunch of old retired rich people. And like, I think it's in West Palm. And they have this church because they are afraid of dying. So they have like cryo chambers that they're building to extend life and extend life research. And there was like an interview on like a local news channel I saw where this woman, a member of the church, was like being interviewed, and she was like crying, like, no one should ever really have to die. It's just like so unnatural, and nobody should ever have to go do it. And that really struck me because I was
That's
like,
weird. No, dying is definitely natural.
because that's my thing. And I was like, it's literally the
Very
thing that
natural, son.
every living thing has in common. I mean,
Exactly.
like we all
Exactly.
like a tree has seeds. You know, snakes and reptiles have eggs. You know, humans
There's
born
a
life.
beginning and an end.
Yeah, but we all come into the world differently, all living things, but we
Yeah.
all leave the same.
Yeah.
You know? So like I was like, it's so crazy our fascination with the fear of death when it's literally like, I think the most natural thing we can do. Maybe the timing of death can be, you know,
Exactly.
a little adjusted or something like that, but you know, overall, like, I don't know. I think we're living in a video game, a simulation anyways, and we just like black out.
It's for me. It's not even anymore a fear of death. You know, like I accept that it's a fact of life. I understand it, but suffering is what I fear for sure.
Yeah.
You know, like playing sports, for example. I had multiple concussions, broke my neck. I've had shoulder surgeries. Like, how is my body gonna progress? Like, what's gonna be the whole deal?
Well, I could tell you, it's from somebody who didn't think I was gonna make it to 30. I can tell you that, you know, it does give you a different mindset. Well, I have hemophilia, which means it's a bleeding disorder where my blood doesn't stop bleeding. And I have it really mild. So, like, I only need to give myself, like, IV medicine for, like, major cuts and wounds and, like, hospital trips and shit anyways.
Sure.
But there are people who have it, like, so severe that they have to, like, get themselves IVs every day. And, like, if they fall down the stairs, they, like, could die of internal bleeding. And it's, like, real serious.
Yeah, that's bad.
But, and I've also blind in my right eye. So from a corneal transplant when I was 2, I got chickenpox in my eye. So I haven't been able to play sports, and I always thought that, like, with all my medical shit, I'd be like, it'd be a goddamn miracle if I don't fall apart by the time I'm fucking 30 already, you know? So it caused me to kind of behave in a little bit more of a reckless way when I was younger, that I probably would give myself a little bit more conservative advice these days.
I hear you.
But at the end of the day, it allowed me to have a very rich, fulfilling life. So it's a positive and negative to each side. And, like, you know, with the injury thing, you know, you might be injured, but you have those memories and those experiences that are probably built character, you know, did a lot of things that you can't get anywhere else.
Definitely.
Chinks on the armor, man. A knight in shining armor has never seen battle.
Yeah,
my man. Definitely. I agree with you.
Wow.
I do.
Yeah, injuries make you think, boy. They give you time to reevaluate.